Hi my friends, welcome back. Zen Odyssey, Chandra Zas. Stoked you're here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This week's topic, Mythbuster number 2. Planning steals freedom. So many people I know avoid and resist and hate planning because they think that planning takes away their freedom. And I'm here to share the total opposite experience and the enlightening revolution that planning actually creates freedom and creates time and creates space. What? I know, it's a little wild to wrap your mind around, especially if you're not a big planner. But I'm here to share with you the total opposite experience that I have had with my personal schedule, my personal planning, as well as my clients' scheduling and planning. All right, so what happens? So most people think that when they're going to plan something, that they lose spontaneity, they lose the freedom to do whatever they want. Okay, let me get specific with my food and mood journal. In my Heal Your Gut program, which is about to come public and be offered to anyone who wants to apply, super exciting. In my program, one of the cornerstone pieces is my food and mood journal, where we track everything and we also plan ahead of time what we're going to eat in the upcoming 24 hours. And I'm sure you can guess, probably even you hearing that, you're like, ugh, that sounds horrible. I can see why it does, and I can even get on board with like, oh man, I have to pay attention. I have to now write things down. I got to think about it ahead of time. Why can't I just do it on the fly? But what happens, so here's the big reason of why switching over is important. Because when we plan, we use a different part of our brain that makes better decisions, that makes healthier decisions. When we're deciding on the fly what to eat, we're often eating something that tastes really good and that feels really good in the moment, but that maybe isn't in our best interest, that isn't maybe taking care of our health or thinking about how we're going to feel after we eat it or even the next day. So this is the reason why I really encourage people to plan. But the added benefit of planning is that it actually creates freedom. It creates time and space. I'm sure you can identify if you have any kind of food issues, and it could be any kind of range of trying to eat healthier or trying to lose weight, or if you're trying to change anything about your food, then you're probably spending a lot of mental energy thinking about food. You're having some battles, you're having some arguments, you're having some discussions in your brain about what you're going to eat, what you're not going to eat. And this takes up a lot of mental space. You're kind of in a constant deciding mode, and making decisions is exhausting. It takes a lot of energy to make decisions. So when we step into my program and when we plan what we're going to eat 24 hours in advance, you get yourself into a decision-making mode. You sit down for only a few minutes and you decide what you're going to eat. And then that's done. You don't have to make any more decisions. And so all of that mental chatter is not happening anymore. So now you actually have free brain space to focus on other things besides food. This is a really freeing experience if you're someone who thinks about food a lot, which most of us do think about food a lot. So you'd be kind of the outlier if you're someone who doesn't. I would bet that you're listening to this, you think about food a lot. You're kind of deciding, thinking. Yeah, it takes up a lot of mental space. So when we plan ahead of time, we free up this space. And it doesn't mean that there's still not room for spontaneity, but what about being spontaneous about other things besides food? What about spontaneous to go on a hike? Or what about freedom to do other things besides think about and figure out food? What kind of energy would you have open up if your food was dialed in and taken care of, and this was done in a succinct amount of time every day instead of all the way throughout the day? What happens is that we have all of this freedom and this brain space and this energy. And because we're eating better foods, by default, by planning, we eat better foods. So, which results in feeling better and having more energy. So not only do we have more brain space, we also have more energy. And so which results in having more freedom to do more things that we love besides eating. I know this is a little bit of a tricky subject because so many people find food so important, to find so much pleasure in food and find spontaneity in food. But there's other parts of life that can be highly pleasurable and spontaneous and free that doesn't revolve around food. Might be a little bit of a mind shift for you to wrap your mind around that, but it's a really interesting space to jump into. This is my Mythbuster number 2. I am loving this series. I totally love jumping into these myth-busting topics. I'm having a blast. I hope you are too. Please let me know how much time you spend thinking about food. I would love to hear, like, if you could quantify. I spend 80% of my day thinking about food. Tell me. I remember the total crazy yo-yos and the consuming mental chatter of food back when I was really struggling with food. Now it's a background thing, and once in a while I make some kind of really cool elaborate meal or something, but it's like for pure pleasure or for pure art. It truly is spontaneous and free. It's not because I'm craving something to feel better that has like an immediate gratification and has a detriment to my health. It's a really radically different way of being with food and feeling in life, and I highly recommend it. My program is about to be publicly launched. I'm really excited. Stay tuned for more. If you're interested in healing your gut and you're interested in working with me, please stay tuned. Feel free to reach out to me if you want to know more details, but more information is definitely coming your way. Have a beautiful week. I hope that you're feeling awesome and that you're planning your food. All right, ciao. Have a beautiful week.